change. I never imagined that one email, literally one email, can change the course of your life and turn you into an agent of change. While I was working in Brussels for an American hotel company, I got an email, a very unexpected email. And it went like, "Hey Michael, might you be interested in having a conversation with us about a new role in our organization?" Googling that company, that opportunity, and subsequently deciding to answer that email led me to have to make one of the most pivotal decisions in my professional career. Should I continue to go down my expected career path, stay with a great company, doing what I loved to do? Or should I push myself into an unknown world, full with new challenges and opportunities? Guess what I did? I moved back to the US, this time to California, to join Google and to become its leader of its world-renowned Food at Work program. Unbeknownst to me at that time, I would land in a very untraditional food environment in which I would be able to facilitate and accelerate changes in food systems. I would become an agent of change. In today's world, food choices truly matter. So many individuals suffer from diet-related diseases, whether it's from over, mal, or undernutrition. A world in which food production is one of the core drivers of climate change. So many individuals, or so many organizations have captured the challenges, the needs, and opportunities in so many reports over the years. So many challenges, so many opportunities. But I wonder, why can it be that if all the challenges and opportunities and solutions are known, we're not making more progress more rapidly? What is not working and what is not being done? And is there a role that I might be able to play in addressing those challenges? Exploring those questions, those challenges, has become my personal passion. I deeply believe that our world needs more change agents and leaders. Individuals who can move from just acknowledging the issue, talking about the issue, to actually making a difference on the issue. Over the years, I've come to learn that I can combine my core work responsibility, which is to bring people together over a really delicious meal, with capitalizing on much broader opportunities. The chance to influence the food behaviors, beliefs, and actions of many. I am realistic enough to realize as well that I will not solve the problem of world hunger, but I do deeply believe that I can make a difference in my global food ecosystem. For me, this has become really all about me taking personal responsibility for the difference I can make in my ecosystem. For me, this is becoming about acting upon my future vision of food. For me, this has become about seeding my future. To seed is an acronym that I use to really articulate what I'm trying to do. It is about to see, to envision, to engage, and to do. It starts with you really seeing the needs and opportunities. And vision, you have to be able to think about that future state that you would aspire to get. You have to engage others to come along on the change journey with you. But most importantly, you have to do. The first phase is to see. So you have to acknowledge that there are needs and opportunities that you might be willing to entertain. If you think about my world, the world of food, the challenges, the needs and opportunities are so widely known. That is really easy. And depending on your perspective, you can look at a challenge through the lens of sustainability, health and well-being, access, nutritional quality, So many opportunities. In my role, I have a clear responsibility for those who we get to serve on a daily basis, and for the impact my organization has on the food systems we are a part of. But at the same time, but even more importantly, I see great opportunities to use my ecosystem, my platform, to do so much more. And why is that? Well, I happen to work for an amazing organization that wants you to make an impact at scale, an organization that is willing to disrupt industries, and one that enables you to act as an intrapreneur in a large organization. That, for me, is the most ideal organization, environment to make a difference. So, what might that future state now be? To envision. So, what is it that you would like to pursue? For this phase, a powerful narrative can be an amazing tool to inspire people to see a very different future. Think about the impact science fiction has made. In the 60s, we talked about self-driving and flying cars. Yesterday's science fiction is today's reality. So what if we would actually write the future of food today? So what if we would write a science fiction story about food today? What might that future actually be? In my world, we use the concept of moonshots frequently. If you go back to the 60s, President Kennedy, let's place a man on the moon. That was unimaginable in the 1960s. But somehow, some way, he got people to believe. He got them to come along. Now, what would happen if you would apply moonshot thinking on the challenges we're faced with in food systems? That's what we have done. Instead of talking about moonshots, we created foodshots. Very futural, aspirational states of a future of food that you have to believe in, you have to imagine. So imagine with me. Imagine a future where all of us will be able to make personal informed food choices for sustainable lifestyles. Imagine a future where we've all moved to plant-forward diets. Or a future with full transparency in all food systems. You would know where your food is coming from and what is in your food. Or imagine a future state where we have addressed the global challenge of food loss and food waste. And last but not least, just imagine for a moment that we have fully transitioned to a circular food economy. When you think about what your future state could be, you have to think as well about what you would like your role to be in creating and shaping that future. In my world today, I want to be a change agent and a thought leader in this domain. But longer term, I want to continue to use my ecosystem, my platform, as a starting point to contribute to the question, how might we enable the planet to feed the 10 billion people by 2050 in sustainable, nutritious, ecological ways? That is my future North Star. I am using the foodshot concept in my world to inspire and enable and to guide my ecosystem to come along with me on my journey. And for me, it is not about what I can personally do, or my team, or my organization. It is just as much, if not more, about ultimately inspiring and convening and amplifying the work of others. This is really about teamwork. And that brings me to step number 3, to engage. You have to determine when you want to change the world, who you want to engage, enable, and energize to come along on your change journey with you. You cannot do it alone. And you have to think through ultimately from who do you need to engage and in what order to create change. Should you focus first and foremost on the coalition of the willing and the able, Or is it better to focus first and foremost on the critics, the non-believers, or the blockers? Then you have to do. That at times can seem like the easiest part of it all, but actually I believe it's one of the hardest ones. Because why is that? Creating change is really, really hard. And as a beginning, you have to determine what steps do you have to take in order to create your desired future. And driving change is really, really hard because getting started requires courage, tenacity, and endurance, as change is hard, and you will very likely encounter all kinds of critics on your change journey. Why are you involved in this? You're not working on the right elements. You're not moving fast enough. It is so easy to be a critic on the side. It is much harder to be there and just to do. And regardless of the criticism, you have to continue and remain focused. Let me take you one of my change journeys. So I've shared with you one of my 5 foodshots. I am on a journey with ultimately the workforce I get to feed on a daily basis to get them to embrace a very plant-forward diet. It is about eating more plant-forward and less meat, but better meat, more fruits and vegetables. Why? It is better for you as an individual, and it's definitely better for the environment. A true flexitarian approach, a win-win for all. So a number of years ago, we started on this journey, and we thought this is going to be fairly easy. Feed a highly educated workforce more information about why eating plant-forward is better for them, and the rest would follow. That didn't really turn out that well for us. People didn't change. And why is that? Affecting food behavior change is really, really hard. So we moved on to step number 2. We thought, well, we're going to play with them. What if? What if we just offer more plant-forward dishes and less meat dishes? So the choices are better, and it's going to be harder for individuals to eat actually meat dishes. That hasn't really worked out for us so well either, for some surprising reasons for us. So the first lesson we learned over here, cooking plant-forward, cooking vegetables, lentils, beans, and other good stuff is actually harder than ultimately touching a good piece of meat. It is really, really hard. And what we learned is that our chef population wasn't necessarily equipped yet to cook deliciously plant-forward. We're addressing that now by working with the Culinary Institute of America to develop a plant-forward training curriculum so that our chefs in the near future can cook deliciously plant-forward. And in the meantime, we've started actually with step 3 on our change journey, which is far from complete. Step 3 is about ultimately choice architecture. From how can we make the better choice, plant-forward, the easier and tastier choice. Changes can be really, really hard. But at the same time, through this process of launching and iterating, something that is very common in the tech world, we learned that some changes are really easy and can literally lead to food behavior changes overnight. Do you want your workforce to eat less candy? Hide them in opaque jars or in hard-to-reach drawers. Would you like your population to eat less desserts? Place them in a less prominent position and offer them in smaller sizes. Yes, some changes are really, really easy and can be made overnight. Others are significantly harder. But all changes, hard or easy, start with at least one person taking the first step to drive change. And that brings me to all of you. In today's environment, there is such a strong need for change leaders, individuals who want and can make a difference in their own world. Individuals who can ultimately say, I have a dream. I don't want what we have today to be our future. individuals who are able to bring others to come along with them, and individuals who are willing to act. Yes, change can truly start with you. It won't surprise you when I state that I have a deep admiration for change leaders and doers. And as President Theodore Roosevelt so once eloquently said, it is not the critic who counts. It is not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or how the doer of deed could have done them better. The credit belongs to the individual in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. Change can start with you. I have told you my change journey. Now my question is to you. What future are you willing to seed? Thank you.